Portland has a pretty racist history. Some of that stuff was just going underneath the current. Say, for instance, Mount Olivet Baptist Church. All the wood the lumber that was brought over to build that church were brought by the Klan, and those folks were active in those communities. But around in the early 60s and mid 60s, people didn't do much of anything to get on each other's nerves until those first gentrification things began to happen, projects began to happen in the community. First of all, Emmanuel Hospital, where families were moved out and dispersed. And before you know it, people are down. Then here comes the Fremont Bridge, and people are down with houses, and before you know it, they hear a freeway going over their head. And no one had informed them, no one had talked to them. They were just moved around like cattle. That's when I think things begin to happen, when the riots begin to happen here in northeast Portland. Because people were, I remember seeing people throwing bricks at cars as they came down the street. Every time they saw a white family, they would throw bricks and sticks and whatever else. People were angry because they were pent up. And they say, why do you burn your own neighborhood down? Well, it wasn't their houses, they were renting. And people just were not given, and that redlining was going on then, the same way it happens to the next step at Lloyd Center, where that gentrification thing began to happen. And then the next step is Alberta Street. That began to happen. And when you displace people, and they're not considered as to who they are and valued, people are going to get upset. Can you think of any other neighborhood where the city just comes in and just moves you out? You won't find a neighborhood like this. Something wrong with that. African Americans do miss that type of neighborhood where you know your neighbors and you communicate, you help one another out, you support one another. And there's a feel for a community. It feels like a group of people really with some commonalities that have something that they share in common, that they love this neighborhood, they love this community. And even when this is tattered and messed up as it was, we have people who loved this community still. Money doesn't necessarily change the heart of the community. It may change the cosmetics, superficially, but at the same time, a community has a soul. And we often forget about that when we start these new businesses and not communicate.